Ah! Well, this isn't exactly a primitive weapon. This is a device that's sometimes known as a chakra. This is my own kind of modification of it. Well, anyway, it's in there pretty good. It's made out of an old saw blade. I'm going to show you how to do that. But there's a lot of uses for this little tool. In ancient times, they used to use these as weapons. They'd throw them something like a frisbee, and because it has a razor-sharp edge, did terrible damage to the enemy. It's also been used in a lot of societies as a hunting tool. If you throw it, as I did this one, straight up and down at the neck of an animal, it'll slice it right open. Drops them in their footprints. They're also kind of tough if you throw them into a piece of wood like this, because you got to find a way to get them out, and that's my next job. Here's a way to get it out. Grab it with my trusty pliers here and just pull straight up. The chakra can be thrown like this, or you can throw it straight up and down like this. So there's the chakra. Now the chakra has some real limitations. It takes a lot of power, it doesn't have much range, and the accuracy is limited by the amount of practice that you put into it. You can increase the range and accuracy if you want to cut out the center section of the thing and make it into something that looks like a giant washer. If you've ever watched television, perhaps you've seen some program called Xena. She carries one around. In fact, in ancient times, the washer type chakra was put on a stick and spun around on top of the stick and then released. And they had a lot of range, a lot of accuracy, and great power because of the extension of the stick. How about expediency? Well, it takes a grinder and a saw blade in order to make one of these things, so it's not something that you'd make in the wilds. But making one before you go into the wilds might not be a bad idea, because there's some other things you can do with one of these that you might not have thought of. The other use for the chakra involves a piece of wood. Let me show you how we do that. What we're going to do involves turning the chakra into an axe with this piece of wood. And start cutting a slot. Once you've sawed a little notch in the top of your stick, your handle stick, then what you do is you place your knife into that notch about like so. Now the reason for the notch is to help guide the blade so it'll split the wood right down the center, or close to the center. And then start tapping with a piece of wood, the hammer, on your knife. I think I'll get my legs out of the way here, like so. That helps to run a split big enough to accommodate the blade. And that should do the job right there. Okay, get out of there. Now, the next thing, so we've got our little chakra. What we're going to do is kind of fit that into the notch about like so. It'll make its own notch here. As you can see, it already wants to stick. There we go. Get out of there. Okay, that's the basic idea. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pin this into place so the blade won't go anywhere, and that gives us a handy axe that we could use for chopping odds and ends wherever we need to have odds and ends chopped. And because it's got a long sharp surface like this, we could rotate this a little bit and present a new sharp edge if we don't want to spend any time sharpening. But let me continue with this project and we'll show you what she looks like. Now that I've bound it top and bottom with a cord, I've knocked the blade out so you can see a portion of it is out here, and you can see the hole is right there, the original hole that made this fit onto the saw. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bearing right in there. Actually, it's not a bearing. What it is, it's a pin, and that keeps the blade from sliding through. This is the side that you chop with. It won't go through as long as this pin is in place. Now, this entire axe took about 3 minutes to make. It's not a thing of beauty, but it is functional. Now you've seen what the shocker can do. Now the shocker is pretty easy to stick because it has, well, it has points all the way around, or at least it has an edge all the way around. And that makes it an easy thing to throw. It's pretty effective. But a lot of times when you watch movies, you'll see some fella pull out one of these. He throws it through the air, and bang, as soon as it encounters its target, the target drops, there's dead silence, and it's always effective instantly. Well, there's a problem with that. It doesn't work exactly that way. But let me show you a little bit about how you throw one of these things, so at least you'll know how to toss one if you ever want to know that.